Good morning, listeners of Hot Topic and Fresh News. Today, May 18th, 2024, we're bringing you the latest from around the globe. Starting in Afghanistan, a tragic incident unfolded in Bamyan province where 3 Spanish tourists and an Afghan national were killed in a shootout. Alongside the fatalities, there were injuries among citizens from Norway, Australia, Lithuania, and Spain. 4 suspects have been detained, with an investigation underway. This region, known for the historical UNESCO World Heritage Site and the remains of the giant Buddhist statues, has seen few such attacks since the Taliban's rise to power, who have also condemned this violence. Moving to Slovakia, the aftermath of an assassination attempt on Prime Minister Robert Fico seems subdued as life in Bratislava continues relatively undisturbed, overshadowed by the Ice Hockey World Championships nearby. Despite recent anti-government protests in this liberal, pro-European city, the response to the attack has been mixed, with some fearing political fallout. The Interior Minister has described the incident as politically motivated, executed by a lone wolf, and not linked to any radical political groups. Calls for the cessation of hatred and violence in politics have been voiced, highlighting a tense political climate. These are today's significant events, keeping the world watchful and aware. Good morning, everyone. This is Emily coming to you live from Hot Topic and Fresh News.
And I'm David. Hello.
We're thrilled to have you with us. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest news. Straight to the hot topics.
Could you explain the significance of the location where this tragic event took place?
Absolutely. Bamyan province is not just any location, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known worldwide for the ancient Buddhist statues that were unfortunately mostly destroyed by the Taliban in 2001. It's a place that symbolizes both cultural heritage and the profound impacts of conflict.
What has been the response from the international community to this attack?
The global reaction has been one of condemnation and sorrow. The European Union condemned the attack in the strongest terms, while the Spanish Prime Minister expressed being overwhelmed by the news. There's a clear message of solidarity towards the victims and a firm stance against such violence.
How does this incident impact the Taliban's effort to promote Afghanistan as a destination for tourists?
This shootout is a significant setback. The Taliban has been attempting to change the perception of Afghanistan to attract foreign tourists and investors, which is crucial for their economy. However, attacks like these raise serious concerns about safety and could deter foreigners from considering Afghanistan as a travel destination.
Has there been any indication of who might be behind this attack?
Currently, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, and the motives remain unclear. The Taliban government has vowed to find and punish those responsible, emphasizing their condemnation of the crime and their commitment to handling the situation.
What does this mean for the safety of foreign nationals in Taliban-controlled areas?
It underscores a significant risk. Although attacks on foreigners have been rare since the Taliban's return to power, this incident is a stark reminder of the unpredictable security situation. It certainly calls into question the assurances of safety by the Taliban to foreign visitors and residents alike.
What's the public reaction in Slovakia to the assassination attempt on Prime Minister Robert Fico?
It's quite mixed. While there's a significant shock and concern over the assassination attempt, life in Bratislava seemed to carry on as usual, even with the ongoing Ice Hockey World Championships. Some even expressed a nonchalant attitude, noting that since the Prime Minister survived, life goes on.
How is this incident affecting the political landscape in Slovakia, especially with the backdrop of recent political tensions?
This assassination attempt occurs at a time when Slovakia has been experiencing considerable anti-government protests. These protests have been fueled by issues such as corruption, nepotism, and government control over media. The capital, Bratislava, which leans liberal and pro-European, shows strong support for the opposition, and this event could potentially escalate the political unrest.
How are the citizens responding to governmental actions post-incident?
There's a palpable fear among the citizens regarding the potential retaliation or further political suppression that could follow the assassination attempt. The conversations in public spaces reflect a society that is deeply worried about the future of its democratic processes.
Is there any indication of how this will affect Slovakia's position on the European stage?
Definitely, incidents like these could potentially tarnish Slovakia's image in Europe, especially at a time when the country is trying to project stability and adherence to democratic norms. It puts the spotlight on the internal political strife and how it's managed, which is crucial for maintaining confidence among European partners.
What can we expect moving forward in Slovakia's political scene?
We should anticipate a period of heightened political scrutiny, both domestically and from abroad. The government's next steps in addressing both the assassination attempt and the underlying political grievances will be critical in shaping Slovakia's immediate political future. The atmosphere in Slovakia's parliament was already highly charged, but the assassination attempt on Prime Minister Robert Fico has escalated tensions to a new level. Luboš Blaha, the deputy speaker, openly accused the opposition of being complicit during a particularly stormy session.
How did the opposition react to these accusations?
The opposition, led by Progressive Slovakia and other parties, was quick to condemn the attack. In fact, they even canceled a planned demonstration to show their commitment to resolving matters peacefully. Opposition leader Michael Semeka expressed shock and a firm stance against violence on social media platforms.
Could you give examples of how the government and opposition are planning to address these heightened tensions?
Certainly. Interior Minister Matis Sutaji emphasized that the attack seemed politically motivated but was the act of a lone wolf. Following this, both the outgoing President Zuzana Chaputova and her successor Peter Pellegrini called for a joint meeting of all parliamentary parties, aiming for a collective response to reduce the political temperature.
What examples of previous political responses can we draw on to understand the current situation?
A relevant example would be the Slovakian government's handling of past protests against corruption and governmental control. Historically, these have led to significant political shifts, like the emergence of new parties and leadership changes. The current calls for a joint meeting and public appeals for calm echo Slovakia's attempts in the past to stabilize its political environment through dialogue and cooperation, despite the occasional flare-up of harsh rhetoric and confrontations.
With such a volatile political atmosphere, what can we expect moving forward?
Moving forward, one can expect a period of intense political maneuvering. The government and opposition will likely engage in a balancing act of asserting their stances while avoiding further escalation. Meanwhile, public sentiment will play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape, as leaders from both sides may be compelled to moderate their approaches in response to citizen demands for stability and constructive dialogue. Amidst the chaos and heightened emotions following the assassination attempt, there's a palpable call for peace among Slovak politicians and citizens alike. It's been emphasized that none of us politicians today can be sure that we won't be the next victim. We have to stop this hatred.
How is the general public reacting to this sentiment?
The public's reaction is mixed but leans towards a desire for nonviolence and stability. For instance, a student named Uri expressed his disapproval of Prime Minister Fico's policies but simultaneously wished him a speedy recovery, emphasizing that violence is not a solution.
In light of these events, how are people addressing the underlying issues that may have contributed to such a drastic action?
The calls for stopping hatred and avoiding violence suggest a broader reflection within the Slovak society about the corrosive effects of political polarization. It seems there's a growing awareness that resolving political differences must happen through dialogue and democratic processes, not through violence or intimidation.
Looking ahead, what might be the implications for Slovakia's political culture?
This incident could act as a catalyst for much-needed political dialogue and may encourage a shift towards more moderated and constructive political discourse. It's a critical moment for Slovakia's democracy, and how politicians and the public respond to this crisis could define the country's political trajectory for years to come. Thanks for tuning into Hot Topic in Fresh News today. We explored the recent political tensions in Slovakia, and it's been enlightening to discuss these pressing issues with you. Remember to subscribe, activate notifications, and share our content. Your engagement truly helps us grow and continue providing in-depth analysis.
And hey, make sure to keep the conversation going. Whether it's on your social media or at the dinner table, spreading the word makes all the difference. We've got some intriguing topics lined up, so you won't want to miss out. We're here every day, bringing you the latest and greatest.
We appreciate every one of you for joining us and contributing to our discussions. We're excited for the next episode and hope you are too.
Until then, keep asking the tough questions and searching for the truth. Thanks for being such an awesome audience.
Stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse.